What's going on, y'all? Timmy 2 times here, and welcome to Timmy Talks, and these are my Coming Out Chronicles. This is episode number 6, so let's get into it. All right, so before I completely get into episode number 6, just a quick little recap. Last episode, we just talked about how I got into a fight on the DC trip with one of the guys that's supposed to be my friends from my cross-country team, and how one of my, well, she wasn't like, well, I want to say girlfriend. I wanted her to be my girlfriend. That was before I knew I was gay. But you know what? Hold on. Pause. I don't know if any other gay person feels this way, but there's always a girl that you find attractive that you would possibly want to talk to. Now listen, it's not going to last because they don't have the right equipment, and especially if you're trying to get pounded, there's a difference between getting pounded and pounding somebody. Okay, if you doing the pounding, if you the top, I mean, get a girl, honey, and you can pound her. But if you like getting pound, a girl can't pound you unless she put on a strap. And you know what? We're not going to get into that, but she was like, you know, I'm gonna be on Jerry Springer. I'm gonna be attractive. Well, she got them all right except for the Jerry Springer. I ended up being on Wendy Williams. Ask Wendy. So that was just a quick little recap of what we talked about in episode number 5. Okay, so number 6. I want to start number 6 off with my transition from fully transitioning from elementary school to junior high and high school, because that whole little thing with the girl and the Jerry Springer thing that happened in junior high. But there's one major thing that I want to talk about before we transition out of elementary school and junior high and into high school, and that is the fact that I had a couple guy friends growing up, and I had no crush on them. Like, they were what the fuck? Oh my goodness. I feel like I'm so slow. Oh my goodness. They were genuinely like friends. Oh my goodness. What is wrong with you? Get it together. But I didn't have like any crush on them or anything like that. And there was this one in particular. His name started with an A. Like, we were friends from like elementary school until right before junior high, and he flipped the script on me. Now, I'm not even gonna really get mad that he flipped the script on me, but let me just go ahead and get into it. So, like, again, I'm not a basketball player, and I felt like that I knew that the only way that I was going to get friends was to start playing basketball. And it was crazy because I remember there was a period that I didn't have friends for like almost like a year. And I can't say this is 100% true, but I feel like my dad started to make me hang out with some of my other male cousins that I normally didn't hang out with because I didn't have any friends. And he was kind of like worried about me. So I remember hanging out with one of my, oh my God, I just thought about this like out the blue. Like, I had this cousin, and he had his own group of friends, but I was still very shy and stuff like that. So we were playing a video game one time, and they got done playing a video game, and they wanted to go outside. And instead of me just getting up and following them, I was so scared, I stayed in the basement and waited for them to come back. Mind you, I stayed in the basement for like over an hour. The game was on pause, and I just fucking sat there watching the TV. I think it was like Street Fighter or something like that. Like, I kept trying to build up the confidence. Just go upstairs and find them. Go outside and find them, and I couldn't do it. And then finally, I found them, and we went on this whole like adventure around the neighborhood, acting like ninjas, jumping over fences and hiding behind cars. I think we even threw some shit at a couple cars. But yo, my confidence was fucked up as a kid. And, you know, honestly, I'm going to blame that the reason why a lot of my confidence it was fucked up as a kid was because of me being fucking gay. And this is a real fucking thing. The world does not understand what they do to gay people and how they make them feel. And I wasn't even out yet. I didn't even fully understand. I think I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. I didn't even really fully like understand like just the whole fucking situation. Like I was just like still trying to get my footing together, but my confidence was fucked up because I already knew that the strikes were against me. Like it was just a lot, and I'm trying. Hopefully, I'm explaining this the right way. Well, I mean, it's whatever. This is how I feel. So anyway, I hung out with my cousin, and that was very short lived. Like I really didn't hang out with my cousin because it really wasn't my speed. I think my dad was trying to get me to do it, whatever, just to kind of like man me up, so to say. But honestly though, like that was a cousin I shouldn't have hung with because he was fucking crazy. Like they was doing shit. He was doing shit like I was doing, but it was different because I wasn't the HBIC. Like around my younger cousins, I was the HBIC, but he was an older cousin, so he was like the HBIC with his crew. But anyway, I digress. We could put that what Biblical Fox said back there. So me hanging out with my friend, the name started with an A. It was a whole basketball thing. So like I would start hanging out with him. It was just a basketball. He was really into basketball. His brother was into basketball. They used to play basketball in the backyard all the time. And the brother used to have all of his friends come over from high school from elementary school, because his brother was like 2 years older than us. So all of his friends was fine. It used to be a couple. I used to just be watching. They would be taking their shirt off on the basketball court, and I would just be on the sideline watching. But after a while, I think people started to suspect that Tim don't play basketball. Like, why he here? Like, all dudes play sports. When you're young, dudes play fucking sports. Like, especially back then, there was no, computers or, we didn't have computers and stuff yet. Well, I'll tell you what happened with the computer thing. I think I got this too loud. There was like no computers and stuff. So it was just like really just sports and video games. And video games was cute, but then when it was time to go outside, like you had to play, sports and stuff. So people start getting into A's ear. And he started to receive it about me. Like something ain't right with Tim. Like he a little off. Like maybe I think he gay, It is so funny how sometimes people know they know and they can sense things in someone else that person doesn't even know themselves. Like I didn't know that I was gay. Like I knew, but I didn't know. That's gonna be my phrase throughout this whole coming Out Chronicles. I knew, but I didn't know, because I didn't know that I was gay, but I knew. I fucking knew, but I didn't know. If that makes sense, you got it. You clocked it. So me and his like friendship started to fall apart, and my mom and them was in it. They was just like, what's going on with y'all? And his mom was like really cool, so she was just like, what's going on? Why Tim don't come over no more? Da 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 da. So I remember this one time that it just like the shit just completely hit the fan. He started to go around and tell people that Tim still acts like a kid. He likes to play hide and seek and freeze tag and do the video game. Okay, now the video game thing, we used to do this thing like we would act like we was like really like superheroes. Like, so I would go outside and act like I'm Storm and drawing like thunder and lightning to come down, and he would be another superhero. We would act like we were fighting and using powers on each other and stuff like that. But like, that's cute when you're younger, but when you start to go through puberty and you start to get older and you start to hang around other guys, they be looking at like, what the fuck is y'all doing? Like, that's not what we do. We play basketball. We do sports. So I kind of stopped hanging with A, and I started hanging out with this other guy that we went to school with. His name started with a G. And I used to go over his house, like, to hang out with him. Like, he was cool, whatever. Like, he was the type that he really wasn't. He was into other things, too. So he really wasn't into like the basketball thing. Like, I can't remember if he was really into sports, but I think maybe it was like, it wasn't soccer, but he was like into some other things. So one time we were like, he invited us all over to the house, whatever. And I was like, okay, I came over because we all kind of lived in the same neighborhood. So I rode my bike over there. We went in the basement, and my original like bestie came downstairs, and we didn't speak, whatever. And we got into this like little argument. And that's when, like I said, he had told them about, like Tim is like, he's gay. I think he likes guys. Like he does girly things, and he's not, trying to play basketball and stuff like that. So that was like pretty much the end of me and A's like friendship. Like we pretty much stopped from there. As I got older, like I would see him out occasionally, whatever, we would speak, but it really fucking hurt me because I was a good friend. And the fact that he allowed other people to get into his ear and say things about me because he was doing the shit too. I mean, it wasn't like I was doing it by myself. He was literally playing these games and doing all this kiddie shit just like me, with me, and it was just really crazy. And I was just like, okay, you know what? Fuck it, whatever. So then, like, I kind of stopped hanging out with G because G started to hang out with A because I originally had met G through A because A and G were cool, but they weren't cool like that. So then, whatever. So then all of a sudden, it was this guy that he just came into, I think he transferred into our school. His name started with the R. He lived up the street from me. And he was into like soccer and stuff like that. And you know what? That was around the time of puberty. I kind of had a slight crush on him because he had a nice body. Like he had a nice like aura about him. But he would want to hang out with me. Like ever since like the first time I asked him to hang out, like he would literally come over my house and we would hang out. And I don't even remember really what we did. Like he was more like a free spirit. So he would just like, he would ride his bikes. Like he was into like soccer. He did a lot of stuff like that. But we never like really like hung out like that. Maybe he came over the house one time. I may have went into his house. We played video games. But I was getting to the age where I started to realize that, okay, you are different, but you don't know that you're gay. So what you gonna do about it? And this was also around the time that I developed this like Barbie doll fetish. Like I used to, come on, Barbie. That's literally why I wore this shirt for this. I started to like have this weird obsession with Barbie dolls because like I had like all the action figures, like the X-Men toys and stuff like that. Like, I had all that stuff, but it was something about clothes. Like I really was like just into the clothes. Like I used to just love like putting on the shoes, the different dresses, the pants, the shirts, the tops. Baby, I used to do a nasty French braid. I used to braid them Barbie dolls hair up, pin it up, French braid, put fucking products in there knowing you ain't supposed to put no damn greasy ass shit on no damn synthetic hair. Be fucking up. That should be all stuck together and shit. And the only way I could play with Barbies was by going over my cousin Ashley's house. Now, my dad didn't like this once he first found out that I was going over there playing with the Barbie dolls. And he got into it with my auntie, was like, why you let my son come over and play with my, he don't even be playing with no Barbie dolls. So like when the car would pull up, because we would be playing until, my dad would pull up and my mom would pull up and I would just go ahead and stop playing with the Barbie dolls. But sometimes I would take the Barbie dolls' clothes off and make them hump. But I was getting older, and this was around the time where, we was sneaking and watching. I told you earlier that I was watching the 22B channel, the Corn on the Cob channel. So I was starting to be familiar with, male anatomy. And I knew that male anatomy was different from female anatomy. And I would pull the Barbie doll's clothes off. I'd be like, why it look the same down there? Why the man look like he got an Indy and not an Audi? Like something not right. But I would still make them like dry hump and stuff like that. Because, when you're young, you curious, you don't know, like it's just like things that you do. And then the reason why you do these things is because these are things that you see. I say this all the time. And this is something someone else said, and I took it into to my vocabulary. A parent is God in the eyes of a child. So what you see your parents do, what you hear your parents say, how they act, the things that you see out in the world also, it's just like you absorb all that stuff because that's what, when you're a child, you yearn to be an adult. Like you want to be grown. You want to be able to be grown and do the things you want to do because now you get to the point where you get tired of your parents telling you what to do. Like you want to do your own shit. Like you don't want nobody telling you nothing. You want to do your own thing until you realize when you got to start paying these bills and all that shit, then you like, damn, bitch, I need a real good job. And then you start getting with a man or a girl, you get in a relationship and all that stuff. You start having kids, you got a family, they cheat on you, all that stuff. Not saying that it's going to happen to cheat, but, I'm just like, just throwing it out there. So I was like just really into the Barbie dolls and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like, I got into movies. Like I wanted to be someone else that I was. And that person that I wanted to be was who I wanted to be. If that makes sense. Like I used to watch movies and dream and wish that I could be like the people in the movies. And a lot of them were just like lovey movies, girly movies. Like, okay, so a lot of movies I used to watch when I was growing up, I used to love Madonna. Never really listened to her music, but I could tell you I could sing every song off the Who's That Girl movie. I watched Just Be Seeking Susan. What's another one that I loved that I fell in love with? Mannequin with Kim Cattrall. Mannequin was like, oh my goodness, like that was my fucking movie. I literally have two mannequins in my apartment right now. One of them I paid $250 for. I brung from fucking New York all the way to LA. And the other one I bought here at Macy's when it was going out of business. And it's just like, that movie, like, it did something to me. And also because that was one of my first time seeing somebody gay on television other than the Tu Wong Fu and the queer. This is even before I found out about Queer as Folk. And it was just so weird because it's just like a lot of times when you see back in the day, like the gay men that were black were always fucking filmed. Like you didn't see a gay black man that was just like, I would say normal, like dressed in a regular t-shirt. Hey man, how you doing? It was always, yes honey, Miss Girl, Miss Thing, vibrant colors, just crazy outfits, crazy hairstyles, very feminine, just doing all the things I said that earlier. But that's how you would see like black gay men. And it's like, it's crazy because now the black gay men that you see on TV are DL, they're trade undercover, it's just like, and it's just like, that's what they're putting out into the world. So it's just like when younger people see these things, and especially when they fit into that category of being gay, they think that this is how gay people are supposed to act and these are the things that they're supposed to do. So they start to pick up on those things. But then you also, when you're young, you don't realize that movies are movies. Okay? You feel like movies are the truth. It's really what really fucking is. So that's what you absorb, and that's how you think that the world is going to perceive you, or the world, or that's how you think the world is going to perceive you. And how you are going to perceive the world, because that's what you're seeing on the television. So that's how it was. And like I used to just watch all these different type of movies. Shout out to my cousin Angela. Like she really got me hooked onto the movies. And like I even have a lot of these movies in my catalog right now that I watch. She got me into my skincare products like Lancome, Clinique. Like she plays a major role into shaping me into the person I am right now. She gave the best gifts. Like back in the day, like for the Sega Genesis, like she would spend $75, $80 on a fucking video game. Bitch, this was in the fucking 90s. A video game almost $100 fucking dollars. Crazy fucking work. Crazy. Because now that I think about it, the whole Barbie doll thing in the clothes, it is probably one of the reasons why I wanted to sew also. And it was just like, how like, okay, so I'm 42. I didn't tap into my gift and my ability and hone in on that of me being able to sew until I was in my late 30s. And it's a lot of times we be trying to figure out, because I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do in life. Because, I went to college and stuff like that for a semester and a half before I got kicked out. The major that I was taking, I didn't know that was what I wanted to do. I changed majors like 2 or 3 times. Like, and a lot of times it's like you don't know what to do, but it's like your hobby or the things that's just back in the back of your brain. And it's just like, once you realize it, you be like, yo, I've been fucking with this the whole fucking time, which is that's fucking crazy. So with the sewing, I started to started to sew, but it was crazy because I used to sew clothes for my stuffed animals. I remember I had this little moose, and I would just draw out the shape of it, like I would cut out the shape of a T, and I would sew the fucking shirt on the stuffed animal. Like I would fucking put it on the shirt, and then it was just like I messed up a couple times because the moose had a big head, so I had to make the opening bigger. But I would hand sew a shirt onto the stuffed animal. But just like me saying I wanted to do hair, like the clothing, that was like film. Like I couldn't say, oh, I want to do hair or I want to make clothes. Cause like you never really heard of a guy doing hair or making clothes that was not gay. And or it was looked at as being gay. So I didn't want to do it because I was just like, I know that I'm gay, but then I don't know. So I'm not comfortable enough to come out because I'm like, if I do that, now I got to come out and tell them. And it's just like, I'm so scared. I'm nervous. I'm not ready. I don't know what's going to happen to me. So I can't do it. So again, I bottled it in. And it's crazy because I bottled my gayness in for a very fucking long time. Like, I knew I was gay, but I didn't know I was gay from a young age. But you just don't know. Like, you're young. You haven't gone through puberty. It's just so many things that you go through that you don't fucking realize. But you realize. And the reason why you can't and you don't act on it is because you're worried about what everybody else got to say and what everybody's going to think. And that's why I used to, in a previous episode, I talked about my mom's lesbian friend's son was so comfortable with his gayness at a young age, being in elementary, that I wish I could be like that. And even now, growing up, like, I don't know how else but to be myself and to be gay. So when I see people that's in the closet and stuff like that, or they don't want people to know, I'm like, how you live like that? Because child, I can't do it. Like, once you out and you get comfortable, you realize how much easier the world is. Even though, like, there are still things that you got to deal with, but you're living in your fucking truth. And it's crazy that some people go their whole life and they don't live their truth. And it eats them up. Like, you're never going to reach your full potential if you don't be yourself and live in your truth. All right. Princess points gone. That is it for the first part of the 2-part episode of this segment. In the next half, we're going to touch base on the big and tall department. How big bulky shoes have traumatized me to the lunchroom situation. How I used to sit at the lunchroom table by myself. And we're going to get into a couple other things, so make sure y'all come back for episode number 7, which is a continuation of episode number 6. And with that being said, peace out, Cub Scouts. I'll catch y'all in part 2 of episode 6, which is episode 7. If that makes sense. If you know, you know. If you don't know, figure it out. All right, y'all. Bye.